In Johannesburg, South Africa, the crime rate gets out of control, with over 300 murders and violent attacks occurring every day. The police are overwhelmed and unable to maintain order, leaving the government deeply alarmed. In response, they proposed to the police department to build robotic police officers, RoboCops, to assist them in stopping the lawbreakers. The weapon manufacturer company Tetraval is ordered to develop and supply the robotic units to the city. Johannesburg becomes the first city on the planet to introduce the world's first fully automated robotic police force. These deployed RoboCops, called Scouts, are powered by advanced artificial intelligence and were designed by the British scientist Dion Wilson. Within Tetraval, however, another project competes for attention. Moose, a heavily armed, remotely controlled robot, is developed by Australian soldier-turned-engineer Vincent Moore, who's also Dion's office rival. As Dion earns praise for the Scouts' success, Vincent grows increasingly resentful that his more militarized platform is being overlooked by law enforcement. In the next scene, Scout Unit 22 is brought back to the Tetraval headquarters for urgent maintenance. This particular unit is most prone to accidents and is always getting repaired. The repair team swiftly gets to work fixing it up just in time, so it can get back to his next mission, where it will assist in a police raid on a drug deal. On the other side of the city, we see the drug dealers Ninja, Yolandi, and America driving in a van to deliver drugs to their crime boss, Hippo. However, the drug packets get damaged on the way, and they fail to fulfill the deal. Furious, Hippo threatens to kill them and demands that Ninja, Yolandi, and America pay him $20 million within 7 days. During their meeting, the police force and robotic scouts raid the scene. While Ninja, Yolandi, and America manage to escape on the spot, police chase Hippo. In a desperate move, Hippo shoots a rocket launcher directly into Scout 22's chest, and he collapses there unresponsive. Hippo then vanishes, evading the police once again. Back at Tetraval headquarters, while everyone applauds the RoboCops for busting the drug deal, Scout 22 is back again with all its internal parts completely damaged. This time, instead of repairing it, Dion orders it to be scrapped and recycled. Now Hippo arrives back at his hideout and calls Ninja to inform him that he has escaped the police. He demands his money and threatens to kill them if they fail to give him the money in a week. After Hippo's call, Ninja, Yolandi, and America sit together to figure out the solution to save their lives. With time running out, Yolandi suggests that they just need to do one final robbery to pay off Hippo's money, but they have one big problem, that is the Scouts. Yolandi explains that the Scouts are like machines that can be turned off by a remote control. So she and the gang devise a plan to find the man who created these robots and steal his remote to turn all of them off. They search for Dion and collect all the information about him. The scene shifts to Dion returning to his home, where he starts working on his new project. After hours of work, he finally succeeds in creating a groundbreaking prototype artificial intelligence that thinks like a human mind, feels emotions, and has opinions. Overwhelmed with excitement, Dion wastes no time and immediately drives to Tetraval headquarters to meet the company's CEO, Michelle Bradley. He asks her for permission to test the AI project on a police robot, but she refuses. Disappointed but undeterred, Dion secretly takes the recently damaged Scout 22 before it is destroyed, putting it in his van, along with the guard key needed to update its software and protect it against hackers. But on his way home, he is stormed and kidnapped by Ninja, Yolandi, and America. At Tetraval headquarters, Vincent Moore meets with CEO Michelle Bradley and a board of executives. He tries to convince them that his robot Moose is a better weapon than the Scouts, but they turn him down, saying that the Moose is too big and expensive. It leaves Moore frustrated and empty-handed. Now back at Ninja's hideout, Ninja, Yolandi, and America interrogate Dion, demanding to know how to shut down the robotic police force. Dion explains to them that it's practically impossible to turn Scouts off, as they are connected to the satellite, but the gang refuses to believe him. Instead, they look into his van and discover the damaged robot Scout 22. They order Dion to reprogram it so it can work for them. Initially, Dion refuses to do the reprogramming of the damaged robot for them, but they constantly threaten to kill him. Succumbing to the pressure of losing life, Dion assembles Scout 22 and installs the new software into it. He explains to the Ninja gang that this program is a test, and if it works, the robot will have the personality of a scared child, and they will have to teach it everything from scratch. Dayon rethinks before powering it on, but with the gun on his head, he has to. Upon powering up, the robot responds as expected and gets scared. Dayon and Yolandi calm it and teach it words. Yolandi names it Chappie and he starts calling her mommy. Dayon feels proud of his creation. Despite Dion wanting to stay with Chappie, Ninja forces him out of their hideout. Before leaving, Dion tells the Ninja gang that he'll come back to check on Chappie's progress and informs them that due to its damaged battery, Chappie has only about 5 days to live, after which he'll automatically get disabled. At Tetravale headquarters, Vincent Moore tries to steal the guard chip out of envy to destroy Dion's scouts, but when he fails to find it in the lock. When he checks the system records, he finds out that the chip is active and installed in Scout 22. He gets confused and wonders what Dion is up to. Ninja's gang only has a few days to pay a debt of $20 million to Hippo. Yolandi sees Chappie as a child and wants to mother him, but Ninja grows impatient with his development due to both the running deadline for the debt and Chappie's irreplaceable battery running out, giving him only a few days to live. He starts to train Chappie to shoot guns, but gets frustrated because Chappie behaves like a child. In the office, Vincent Moore puts his gun to Dion's forehead and demands the guard chip. Dean refuses him firmly, so he pulls the trigger, but the gun clicks empty. Moore pretends it is a joke and leaves without another word, leaving Dion rattled. Meanwhile, back at the hideout, Yolandi and America teach Chappie some more words. Chappie turns out to be a quick learner. After the office, Dion leaves to check on Chappie, and Moore also follows him to Ninja's hideout. On meeting Chappie, Dion gets mad that the gang is turning him into a foul-mouthed thug. He makes Chappie promise him not to commit any crime or do anything illegal, no matter what the gang says. Then Dion begins teaching Chappie like a child, introducing him to language, art, and the world around him. While painting, Chappie becomes visibly excited and expressive. Moore watches them secretly from a distance. He notices that Dion has installed the guard chip in Scout 22 and quietly leaves from there. Suddenly, Ninja returns and beats Dion for coming back to their hideout. Dayon gets furious, but he is forced to leave. Yolandi asks Ninja to let Chappie be a kid, but Ninja insists that they need Chappie to repay Hippo's debt in just 5 days, or else it will die automatically without helping them. After this conversation, Ninja and America take Chappie to a dangerous thug neighborhood and leave him there to train him to become a gangster. Chappie tried to stop them from leaving and got terrified. The thugs attack him, but as promised to Dion, he doesn't fight back. Somehow he manages to escape from there, but later he is caught by Vincent Moore and his team, who plan to deactivate all Tetravale scouts except Moose by stealing the guard chip. Moore cuts off his arm and successfully extracts the guard key. He tries to destroy him completely, but Chappie manages to escape. Moore tell his team that they can let him go now because he got what he needed, and Chappie is now crippled because it can't learn anything without the guard chip. Chappie eventually makes his way back to the hideout, and Yolandi gets worried watching his condition. She scolds Ninja for this mistreatment, and with America's help, she repairs him attaching a spare robotic arm they had stored away. Yolandi asks Chappie about what happened, and he explains in his childlike voice that a man in a van attacked him. Later, she calms him down and reads him a bedtime story. During their bedtime talk, she tells him that everyone has a soul inside their temporary bodies. It's their part that lives forever. And she loves Chappie's soul. Her words move Chappie's heart. The next day, Ninja asks Chappie to forgive him and offers to be his dad. Innocent Chappie forgives him and accepts him as his family. Ninja tries to teach him how to fire guns so he can't be bullied again. But Chappie remembers his promise to Dion and refuses. America tells him that he can train in martial arts and weapon handling instead. Chappie agrees and learns it all quickly. After the training, Ninja and America give Chappie a gangster look. They trick him into helping them steal cars so they can get money for weapons and robbery. Chappie successfully steals a number of cars. Ninja then drives them to a building where a dogfight is taking place. As the thugs there see Chappie, they run away thinking he is a RoboCop. Meanwhile, Ninja meets the arms dealer Pitbull to buy explosive weapons. When he returns, he finds Chappie caring for a dead dog. He explains to him that the world outside is hard. In life, he can either end up as the dead dog or as the winning dog, but he must fight to survive. He shows him his dying battery and tells him that Dion gave him a broken body that will die in a few days. This makes Chappie frustrated. Ninja manipulates him to help them with the robbery so they can buy him a new body. Chappie agrees with his idea because he doesn't want to die and stay with Mama Yolandi. On the other hand, Dion returns to the hideout to take Chappie back with him, but only finds Yolinda alone. He gets disappointed that Chappie is out there carrying out illegal acts with the gang. At the same time, Ninja, America, and Chappie arrive back. Dayon tries to talk to Chappie, but he ignores him because he's upset. After Dion's several attempts to talk, Chappie confronts him for putting him in a dying body. Back at the Tetraval headquarters, Moore uses the guard key to upload a firmware genesis into the system, thus sabotaging and disabling all scouts around the country. In no time, Johannesburg's criminals immediately run rampant in the streets and commit thousands of crimes with no robotic scouts to stop them. The city turns into chaos. Meanwhile, Chappie also gets deactivated at the hideout. Dion gets worried to see him collapse and gets into a heated argument with Ninja and insists on taking Chappie to Tetraval headquarters for repairs. There, Dion resets Chappie's system and he regains consciousness, back to normal. Inside the lab, Chappie spots the massive Moose robot and is fascinated by its helmet. Dion explains that unlike Chappie, Moose doesn't have a mind of its own, and it's controlled remotely by a human using a neural helmet that transfers the operator's consciousness into the machine. All this time, Moore spies on their conversation secretly and is shocked to see Chappie talk like humans. However, Chappie knows he is still going to die in a few days. He points at a spare robot body hanging there in the lab and asks Dion to transfer him into it. Dion gently tells him that he can't do it because he's not data. He is conscious and can't be copied. Hearing this, Chappie assumes Dion doesn't want to help him and gets angry at him. He runs away from the lab, stealing Moose's neural helmet. Tetraval's CEO, Michelle Bradley, alarmed about the city's situation, orders Dion to figure out a way to revive Scouts. Watching Scouts' failure as an opportunity, Moore requests Michelle to give his robot Moose a chance, but she shuts him down again, making it clear that she has no interest in it. At the hideout, Chappie re-engineers Moose's stolen helmet to transfer his consciousness into a computer so he can change bodies when his current one dies. Just then, Ninja arrives and asks Chappie to join his gang for the robbery so they can get him a new body immediately. Chappie agrees and helps them rob an armored car, which is caught live on the news. Dion gets shocked to watch Chappie do such an act and blames Moore for his involvement. Hippo and his gang also watch the news of the robbery and set their eyes on Chappie. Chappie's crime prompts Tetraval to pursue him. Seizing the opportunity, Moore again tries to convince CEO Michelle to launch his robot Moose to save the company's reputation. This time he reveals how Dion disobeyed her orders and tested his AI project on Scout 22 without letting her know. This triggers CEO Michelle, and she finally authorizes the launch of Moose to hunt down and destroy Chappie. Just as he planned, Moore quickly gets into the neural helmet to personally control Moose and lead the mission against Chappie. When Dion learns about what's happening, he loads weapons into his van and races off to find Chappie, determined to save him at all costs. After the successful robbery, Chappie excitedly asks Ninja about his new body now that they have money, but Ninja reveals it was all a lie and he just needed him for the mission. Crushed and enraged by the betrayal, Chappie grabs a weapon and points it at Ninja to kill him. However, Dion arrives at the right time to warn them that CEO Michelle Bradley has ordered to destroy Chappie immediately. He tells Chappie that he must be prepared to fight by giving him a gun. Chappie refuses to use it, saying that he would die anyway. At the same time, Hippo and his gang show up at Ninja's hideout to collect their debt. He now also wants Chappie for himself along with his money. An armed fight breaks out between the gangs, but the scene shifts when Moore remotely pilots the flying Moose to the Ninja's hideout to assassinate Chappie and Dion. Everyone freezes in horror as Moose stomps on America, killing him instantly. It then launches cluster bombs at Hippo's gang, grounds them out in seconds. Chappie tries to fight Moose back, but he is no match for Moose's firepower. However, he manages to jump on the Moose's body and attach explosives to it. Still, Moose fires back again, injuring both Dion and Ninja. Chappie panics at the sight of Dion bleeding and rushes to save him. He loads Dion and Yolandi into a van and flees the hideout, while Ninja chooses to stay back and distract Moose. But just as they're escaping, Yolandi surprisingly jumps out, refusing to leave Ninja behind. She grabs a rocket launcher and fires at Moose, saving Ninja in time. The shot lands, but Moose turns and kills her in a brutal hail of bullets. Her death shatters Chappie completely. In the rage of avenging Yolandi's death, Chappie blows up the Moose with the explosive he had attached to his body. After an emotional moment with Yolandi's dead body, Chappie drives Dion to the Tetraval headquarters. Bursting into the lab, he finds Vincent and nearly beats him to death in a fury. Without wasting any time, Chappie straps Dion into the neural helmet and uploads his dying consciousness into a spare orange test robot. Dion wakes in a robotic body. He feels surprised and disoriented, but soon he accepts that he's now fully alive. In return, the now robotic Dion wirelessly transfers Chappie's consciousness into one of the nearby disabled scouts using the satellite link. As Chappie leaves Scout 22's body, he feels a bit scared. Dion promises him that it will work out and transfers Chappie's consciousness into a new robot body. Right after Dion escapes the lab as the police arrive at the headquarters and find Chappie in a new robotic body outside on the street. Both of them go into hiding as the police discontinue their contract with Tetraval. While mourning Yolandi, Ninja finds a small box among her belongings. Inside, he discovers a doll copy of her and a flash drive labeled Mommy's Consciousness Test Backup. It contains a copy of Yolandi's consciousness that Chappie took during an early experiment with the neural helmet. Later, Ninja and Chappie bury Yolandi together. Standing by her grave, Chappie makes a quiet promise to her that he'll make her a new body soon. At the same time, the South African authorities immediately halted the use of any robotic element for law enforcement and activated thousands of reserve human forces, while Chappie is still a wanted robot in hiding. In the final scene, Chappie hacks into Tetraval's manufacturing facility, builds a robot exactly resembling his mommy Yolandi, and uploads the flash drive's contents containing her consciousness into it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.